What up, everybody? It is me, Listela. I am back. How is everyone? I am pretty tired. I have had quite a busy week. Yesterday was like insane. I don't even know how many readings I did at the party, and they were like back to back, and then I got to work and it was like full out, like crazy. So I've basically been a little bit catatonic today. So I just pressed record and I just sat there for 45 seconds before I could even bring myself to speak. And I almost was like too tired to do the reading or the show flyer today, but then I just thought, no, I have so much fun doing it. And I just took my time, and then got lost in the fun of the creativity. So that was great. And then I went out into the woods for a walk. And it was quite brisk, and that was fun. The leaves are all changing, so it's really fall-y right now, and that was fun. And then I was like all cold when I got home, and it was like the last like hour and a half of sunlight, so that was in itself very fall-y. And I passed this like family like near the more busier part of the area of the park. I passed this family, this like little girl who was like maybe 10. She was like really getting down and dancing, and I was like, yeah, girl, I feel you. And so I started dancing back. I had my headphones in, and at first she was embarrassed, but then she was like, no, this woman gets it. Like, so we were dancing, and then all the grown-ups were looking at us like we were crazy, but then they were like, yeah, that's awesome. And then I went deeper into the woods and did more drugs. Just a weed pen. Yeah, so then I actually came home and I was like, ooh, tonight would be a good night for mulled wine and a bath since I'm so cold and it's so fall-y. So I think I'm gonna do that. I've got, some fresh pumpkin candles, and I harvested some of my shiitake mushrooms. I'm growing shiitake mushrooms on a log that I bought from the farmer's market that's been injected with mushroom spores. So they've been blooming and it's been really fun. And then I harvested some today and I chopped them up and put them in a skillet with a little bit of sesame oil and ground salt and pepper, and then splashed in a little teriyaki. And then once they were finished like sauteing, I threw in a little bit of brown rice to do like a shiitake mushroom fried rice kind of thing. I didn't have any egg. But it was delicious. It was wonderful. I ate it hot out of the skillet. It was really just a amuse-bouche because I'm going to take a bath, and then I don't know, I might have some chili later, who knows, but I'm just in for the night. I'm feeling cozy, and we're here for our reading for the week. It's so crazy. So yesterday we had our weekly energy forecast, and it was like, it made me feel like there were going to be some like developmental energies going on this week, and maybe, some big turning points. And so today was like followed on that theme. We got Faultline from the Wild Unknown Archetypes, and we got Ace of Wands paired with it. And there really weren't any other cards that wanted to come out, so I didn't push. But these two together, I love that. I'm just seeing this circle and I'm like looking at this. It's like the power is like pushing through. These two together make me think of this, like almost like this pressure building, but it's like a positive pressure, and it's like busting at the seams and it's about to burst forth. And it's like our magic pushing against the other side, right? When physicists talk about they don't know what the dark matter is that pushes up against like our physical like spectrum. I think it's funny because I'm like, I kind of have a sense that I can imagine a couple of things that it could be, but I know that like science has to have their own way of like reasoning and like mathematically calculating it. But mystics usually have like the inside scoop on what's going on before physics does. So that it just makes me think of all of this raw potential that has been building and building and building and building, and it's going to push forth into like coming forth into this manifestation moment. It's like a big bang. It's like the big bang of our new timeline for our life. We've been talking about this big transitional moment, you know, the start of the sequel of our movie, leaving behind all the difficult cycles and patterns of the past, all that heavy baggage, and we're ready to like up level and be our higher selves and start really like joyfully surrendering the ego to the care of the will of the higher self, so we can really find this life that we can imagine for ourselves. But we just are like, what is getting in the way of it? And it's like just like the little things that we can transcend in our life step by step by step. And so I feel like this week we're getting to that fork in the road, or the crossroads, or the Y point where we can go this way or that way. And there's this like catalytic energy, I feel, and I'm not sure if there's going to be a big decisive event or anything this week, but the seeds have definitely been planted recently. And I feel that this moment, this is the week where it's like we are launching into this new life. And I think that you've probably been faced recently with a lot of familiar circumstances and tests and things that have come around to test your boundaries, to test like your fortitude, to test your self-worth, to test your self-discipline and your self-control, and you know, the self-mastery that you've been developing. And you might have noticed that you've actually surprised yourself, and you've been able to meet life in a way that you've never been able to do before, and so it's pretty exciting. And so you're starting to see this potential energy that's starting to develop, and it's really, really, really something, and it's very exciting. I would say right now, while I'm thinking about it, I cut and pasted our the actual blog from Instagram into our show description, just so you can read it, because there's probably things that I'm forgetting because I'm tired. But yeah, there were some really good points. But it's like something is breaking open. And we talked about last night, I remembered reading something recently about, it was in one of my decks, it was in one of the Oracle books, but it was talking about how when your heart breaks open, it allows the soul to enter. And when the soul breaks open, like more dead than dead, when the soul breaks open, it allows the spirit to enter. And I think that we've been with the broken, ness, or the breaking point, we're at this breaking point, and the light is entering, and it's pouring forth. And it's like, when a new ship is christened, a bottle of champagne is broken on is it the bow? Is that the bow? The front and the belly of the ship. And like when a Jewish couple is married, they stomp on a glass bottle and break it. And I haven't looked up the significance of that, but I can only imagine that that's symbolic for like a vessel. The past vessel is broken, and the couple is now starting, the old life is gone, they're starting a new life together, and they're releasing this power, this energy. They're like doing a spell that's blessing the marriage. So that's like this moment, this breaking open moment is like the breaking of the old vessel, and the energy is going into like the creation of something greater and even more. So it's a celebratory kind of breaking and ending. So that's good. Something is pushing through. Our manifestation is pushing through the wall of non-physical, and it's really trying to get into the physical. Other language around this is like when people talk about the 5D moving into the 3D. It's like when something that is spiritually and energetically true, and it's like real in that astral realm, it starts to crystallize and take shape and come into form, or it has potential to, in the 3D, which is the material, the physical world. So that's kind of where we're at right now with starting our new selves and our new chapter in our new lives. And I just had this like vision of in the Fresh Prince when they swapped the Vivians, and you're like, nobody said anything, but it's just like, did Vivian just get taken over by a walk-in? Like, I remembered at some point hearing that like people can like be living their life, and then all of a sudden like their souls like swap out, and they have like a more awakened, elevated soul, to move into their flesh or whatever. I feel like it's almost like that. It's like we're in such like a moment where we can swap over and like flip the script, that it's gonna be like one day we're like Vivian 1, like the mom from Fresh Prince, or the aunt, Will Smith's aunt. And then the next episode or the next season picks up and it's like, it's still Vivian, but like, it's like, that's not Vivian. And they're just like, yeah, it's just still going to be Vivian. They did this with Darren in Bewitched back in the 50s. And it's like, what balls? You're not even going to write them off the show. You're just like, we'll just recast somebody that's like, it's close enough, you know? But yeah, so we're about to be like recasted as ourselves. In fact, it's almost going to be as if our stand-in or their stunt double has been playing us up until now. And now they're like, oh, the real star, the A-lister is walking onto set. Nobody make eye contact. They're in their process. And you're like, don't look at me. Give me some coffee. Yeah, so that is the moment. And I also had like the idea earlier that it's a lot like this moment is like we're being passed the torch to now be the creator of our reality. It's like we're co-creators with divine, but at some point divine is like, yes, but like in order for you to embody your divinity, like I'm here as a backup, but we're taking the training wheels off and you are going to ride on your own. I'll be here when you need me, but I'm going to be right behind you and I'm going to be with you the whole way. But like, I want to watch you ride the bike. I'm excited to see you ride the bike. I'm excited to see what kind of stunts you start pulling on that bike. And it's like, well, you know, in the driver's ed teacher, when they, you know, they have the steering wheel, they have the brake, but it's like when they finally like that day that you go on the freeway, we're on the freeway, it's from Clueless. When you go out on the freeway and they are like put their headphones on is what Coach McAnally did, and he crossed his arms and he took his foot away from the brake and then they let you drive. It's like, it's kind of like that, but even bigger, like Big Bang moment, people, Big Bang. So as you're going through this week, just remember that this is big fresh starts, big new cycles, big new beginnings. And so if you know, you're coming up in those moments, where you're faced with, you know, some pressure, just, I don't know, think back to the times that you've passed tests recently and think about the feeling of exhilaration that you might have had, or being, you know, feeling so much better, or the positive results that came thereof. But just keep going in that trend and keep taking your time and keep allowing yourself to take a breath and like exercise your affinity with the creator, and then use your inheritance, your free will, to try to make the transcendent choice. It's so fun. It's very exciting. Stella's getting her groove back. This is like chick flick montage. People are like making a success of it kind of thing. This is very much Devil Wears Prada when she starts wearing good outfits to work. And it's like, that's a symbol that like she's really doing good and she's making it. And she's like really getting better at her craft. That's us right now. We are Anne Hathaway in her Chanel boots. Okay, you guys have a good night. I'm gonna take a hot bath and have some wine, some mulled wine, and I think this might be a good movie for good night for a Halloween movie. I finished Dairy Girls, and if you guys haven't seen that, you have to watch it. It's a show on Netflix. There's 3 seasons. It's set in the 90s. It's about these teenage girls, and they go to an all-girls Catholic school, and they live in Ireland, and one of the girls' cousins is a boy from England, and they're so racist against him and so prejudiced because he's English, and they're like under the English regime or whatever, so they're always ragging on him, but he for some reason has to go to the all-girls school with them because he's safer there. So it's just like this quirky, they're always getting into like these offbeat hijinks, but just a ragtag team of misfits. But watch the show, it's so good. Yeah, Faultline, Ace of Wands, Big Bang moment of creation in this new timeline. Oh, also watch the movie, this is your homework as well, Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow. Maybe 1999. circa 1999, I think. That feels really right. Maybe 2000, but it feels like maybe made in 99, released in 2000. But cute. Gwyneth Paltrow, short pixie cut, set in London. She's playing an English woman, and it's like we all are like, Gwyneth, we wish you were European too. We're sorry that you're from the United States. Just trash, just cultureless trash. But anyway, so Gwyneth is playing an English girl, and it's like this story about these two parallel timelines about her life, and like in one timeline she makes these decisions that take her this way, and then in the other timeline like she makes a choice that takes her this way. So this is sliding doors moment for sure. Watch that movie and enjoy, and yeah, y'all be good but not too good. Ciao, bellas.